Welcome back to another episode of the Autonomy podcast. And today I'm really welcomed by one of our clients, Anajalee, who's gone through the process of getting herself to autonomy and being able to get life-changing results. So we're going to speak about all the things that she did to get to that point and all the trials and tribulations that she had to endure to get there. I hope you enjoy her story and take inspiration from it, because I certainly did myself. Hey, Anajalee, how's it going?
Hi, it's going good. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So I just wanted to get you on because you've done so well during this journey. So I just wanted to share and inspire other people with your own journey. So if for the listeners, can you just give a bit of an example of what you do, where you came from, maybe whereabout you heard about autonomy, and what were your goals when coming on board?
Sure. So I'm a pharmacist at the moment, and I heard about autonomy through my brother-in-law, Amit, who highly recommended you, Nathan, in terms of your style of coaching and getting results, and in terms of lifelong kind of changes rather than short term. Because he trained with you for 6 months, and he still follows like the teachings, I guess, you taught him. And so that really inspired me to have you recommended by someone and to see those results like daily. So I was like, because I had done some personal training sessions, but they weren't helping my goal, which was to lose weight. Although it was helping build my strength, but it wasn't helping to lose weight. So I was looking for someone to do like all around like weight loss, as well as like making nutritional changes and like lifelong, rather than to go back to do something temporarily and then just go back to what I was.
Yeah,
So so you were highly
that's good. That's good. It's nice to see that people are talking nice things about me. It's not always bad. So like when we first started working together, what was our first initial goals, like in terms of the fat loss side of things? How many kilos did you want to lose? What dress size did you want to get to? What was our major point?
So I think when I started, I was like literally on the verge of really pushing size 8 and going on to size 10. And then that was really where I wanted to go back to size 8. I was trying to be, in terms of realistic with my goal, like I wanted to go back to what I was before I started university, which was like a comfortable size 8. It wasn't like a stretch to go into size 8, but so originally I set out to lose 10 kg. So I started around like 61 kg, so I wanted to go down to like 50, or about there. So that's what we agreed on, I think, as the physical goal weight.
Yeah, just it's really important so people can hear why people start their journeys. What was the major point for you to be like, okay, I need someone to help me? And I need coaching. Was there like one trigger? Was anything that really like stood out in your mind that was like, I need to reach out now?
So it wasn't it wasn't last year, but it was a year before that. I had gone on a holiday with some of my friends, and we had gone like to beaches and clubs, and like when I look back at those pictures, I felt really uncomfortable, looking at them, like looking at myself, like that I've let myself go to that extent, and without like caring about it. But then I felt very conscious of how I looked, which I hadn't before, and it was really like bothering me. So I did look into like other coaching, or like I tried some other people like Herbalife, and I tried personal training, but that wasn't helping. And then I stopped personal training because I saw it wasn't helping my weight. And then at the end of the year, like I guess a lot of people do this at the beginning of a new year. They want to change something new or do something new, like a new goal. And I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, it's getting close to like maybe going on a holiday or something like that, or feeling more comfortable, and like being able to, I wouldn't buy new clothes because I was like, oh, I don't want to move up the size. So I was just like, I felt stuck, very stuck.
Yeah, no, that's very common. You know, a lot of people go on these holidays, and it's only when they're faced with like wearing the bikini or wearing the getting in the UK for the most part, not that I'm there anymore, but I imagine you just have to wear hoodies all the time and t-shirts, and then next minute you're now with less clothing and more skin, and then you're like, oh wow, I'm not that confident about myself. And so
Yeah, reality, like it was really like to look at it reflective, that it was just really shocking, I guess, in my eyes.
yeah, and then that's the trigger moment to say, well, okay, let's do something about it, isn't it? So that's really really normal, and everybody, and at least everybody's been through one of those holidays where they've been like, oh, maybe I need to do something about that.
Yeah.
During the journey, so we started off with that goal of getting that 10 kilos off, or just getting you more confident with the way that you look. What do you think was the biggest first learning that you have, in the light bulb moment or epiphany to be like, oh, okay, this is a big learning for me?
I think I from this whole experience nutritionally, I had to learn I had to learn how to cook a lot of new foods, or had to plan better, and that was really, I didn't have that structure before, and I was really it helped so much to bring structure in my day. And I really look forward to every day having those plans set out every week and knowing what I'm going to do, and it created less anxiety or less bad decision making because I had that structure which helped me build.
Yeah,
So I guess it's really helpful.
yeah, that's it. It's one that often people overlook. Tell the listeners and people what did that planning of the week look like? How did you do it? What was going through your mind? Was it like a weekend thing? Was it like a during the week thing where you're just like, okay, this is what I need to get from the shopping, or how did you do it?
So originally, because the way I work is sometimes I do shift work, so it wasn't always that I could do my meal prep on the weekend. So I would do for a few, and the stuff that I wanted to make, I didn't want to have it for the whole week. So I'll do a few days depending on how food goes off or something like that, and then I'll pick a day. I'll do it twice a week so that I have a variation in terms of what I eat as well. And then I pick a day during the week where I've got more time to do some food prep. But it was just balancing it. It's the task you want to do, and you kind of know what you want to do. You just got to pick a time in the week to do it. And it was that for the X amount of days, for example, Monday to Wednesday, you'll have these meals prepped for you, so you won't have to worry about that. And then you'll know for the rest of the week, what you're going to have to do, so you don't have to think about that either.
Yeah, the big thing that you said there was that before you said about the anxiety of what to eat, where's it coming from, what's it doing. People don't know that. The people don't see that. If you don't plan ahead, then Tuesday afternoon comes, you're like, well, what am I having for dinner? And then it just becomes the easy option, doesn't it? It's like the two for Tuesdays. Domino's is a Tuesday, so why not one of those?
Yeah, I used to take that up. Not gonna say. It's a good offer.
Yeah, it's a really good offer. Fantastic. I still do the same sometimes. So you were getting underway with the planning and the preparation and the structure and stuff like that. What were your results like in that first couple months, 4 to 6 weeks wise?
Oh my god, I the weight was just coming off, and I didn't even understand. Because my initial meal plan that you had prepped for me, I followed that to the T, and I remember telling you for the couple of weeks, I was like, I'm so full, I don't want to eat my food because I was so tired of eating. And I never thought when people say they're on a diet, they're like, oh yeah, my food's little. I felt so full and stuffed. I was like, how can I be losing weight if I'm eating so much? But the way it was just the food was so filling, and it was nutritional, and it was consistent, that somehow the weight was just coming off, and I didn't it was getting easier rather than harder.
Yeah, that's often a case when you choose really high volume foods. Probably the most amount of vegetables you've had in the week, or the most amount of protein that you've probably had as well. Those foods are going to really fill you up. And then in terms of how did you feel with the results? Was that building confidence? What was it doing for you over that first couple of months?
It was incredible, because the more positive every time, so I have to check my weight once a week. Every time I saw it coming down, I was just more positive reinforcement, and I just felt more pumped for the rest of the week to continue doing that. It didn't it was just giving me more motivation in itself, and then I just felt more happy to look at my results in the mirror myself. I didn't feel oh yeah, and I start to think about, oh yeah, maybe I could wear those outfits again soon. It was very positive mindset, rather than when this ends, I'm going to go back to what I'm going to do. But it was more I want to keep doing this because it's working.
That's really interesting and really good. A lot of people do fall in the trap of when they do get some results, they start going backwards because they think, oh, complacency kicks in. But the one thing with you, complacency's never really kicked in from a nutritional perspective ever, really. You know, it's always just gone leaps and bounds and forwards and forwards and forwards, which has been awesome. During this time, it was lockdown, wasn't it? So what did you do training wise and exercise wise? What was like the setup there?
So we initially started home workouts, and you gave me a plan, 3 workouts a week. And it was interesting because although I did PT sessions last year, because I left a few months between them, I had lost a lot of strength. And so to start those workouts, it was really handy because for the app you can see the videos of how to do it, and me recording it and showing you, like, and then me recording and watching it as well. It's like you can see what you should be doing and what I was doing wrong. So it was like having that weekly kind of feedback was really helpful, and then slowly progressing. And then once the gyms opened up, I did try the gym a bit. We've been working through it. It's a whole trial and error. So I think I did try the gym for a few weeks, but then it wasn't something I was feeling confident of going to. Like, I didn't feel comfortable doing my workouts there. But you were like really, like, in terms of, it wasn't a big deal. We moved it back to home workouts and then got back onto it.
Yeah, I think I remember saying to you, like, as long as you do something, it doesn't matter. Like, the fact that you're doing something is the most important thing out of everything. So we tried the gym, and for you, the gym wasn't a place where you actually felt happy at all, and it was more like a chore than anything else. And when a chore is placed upon your life, and it's quite an important part of your life if you want to maintain your health and fitness, we need to find a better solution. So our better solution was back to home workouts where you felt more comfortable and a lot more focused as well, because you could focus on what you were doing because you're not worried about all the other variables that go into the workouts at the gym. Like, how long did it take you to get to the results that you wanted in terms of the fat loss phase?
So I think it was around April that I got to because I remember, yes, it was around April, I think, that no, April, May. It was around end of April, beginning of May, when I was really close to getting to my physical goal weight. So I got to 50, but then we did like another 2 weeks and I had got down even more. Which I was really surprised. Like, I thought after 50 I would just, like, get comfortable, and I just wouldn't want to do like the diet phase anymore. But then I had got used to it so much, like I wanted to push myself a bit more, and you were there to push me as well, which was really helpful. So, like, we got it down even further. So that was around, like, I think, yeah, about 4 months, I would say.
And it's really good going for what you achieved as well, over 10 keys, which is unbelievable. Now, one thing I was super proud of you about, and one thing I think that the listeners definitely need to hear more about from your side is the social event management. It's the hardest part out of most people's like day, weeks, and months. I know I always say that the ability to manage social events and do that in any phase will be the dictating factor whether you stay in shape long term or not. So, like, talk to us about, and we'll go into like the maintenance phase afterwards and all the exciting stuff that we're doing now and having the time of our life with food intake. But what during the dieting phase, what type of strategies did we use? What kind of issues did you face during that time period?
So during the dieting phase, it was like, so as I said, we did like 4 months and we lost weight. But I think because within those 4 months, I think I did have a maintenance. So we didn't have like a maintenance day. We had like a maintenance meal every now and then for like special occasions, like a birthday or something like that, where we had spoken about it a week before, and like about what was going to happen, what kind of social situation it was going to be, what kind of food would be there, what would be the better choices, and what to watch out for, what to be careful of, and how to handle it. So having that prep talk before the event, it was really helpful, because you go in, we spoke about this together, you go in with an intention of what you're going to have, and you try your best to stick to that intention. And then we did this, and I somehow, like, I don't know, it took a lot of discipline and control, but sticking to that, you've enjoyed the event even more because you didn't feel like you compromised on your health. Like, when I came out of it, I didn't feel guilty for enjoying my meal, because I know that we had spoken about it and we had structured our week around it, and it wasn't something that oh yeah, I'm gonna have to diet throughout the whole week just so that I could no, I mean, like, I'm not gonna have to eat throughout the whole day so that I could have this one meal. Like, we structured it so that it fits within the plan rather than like really blows the plan away. Like,
Yeah, no,
that was
100%. I did a story today about how I'm doing something that we tried with you in my own dieting that is a large success now, which is that if you've got a meal or you've got something that is way more important than if you lose zero point 0.6 or you lose zero point 0.3, it is
mm,
time to be able to scale back a little bit and see the 30,000 foot view. And that is the as that is one meal is not going to make you fat, and then one meal is not going to make you skinny either. So having that one meal allows you to go and do all of the experience stuff. Remember, you had some afternoon teas, some birthdays, some anniversaries, and all of those things allowed you to do that thing whilst also maintaining and getting results as well. What type of like foods? Like some people will be like, oh, you know, what did she pick when she went to the restaurant? She gives some examples of the types of strategies and foods that you're eating during that time, during that maintenance meal.
so I'm a vegetarian, so in terms of the food I was picking off the menu was like because when we were looking at my meal plan anyways, we were looking at protein, carbs, and like veg. So from when we were talking about what's on the menu, like we're trying to get some protein into the meal, something with a bit of carb and something with the veg. So for example, like on my meal plan is a protein, a paneer, sorry, which is low in calories. But if I was going to a restaurant, like an Indian restaurant or something, I would pick the paneer, but just know that it will have a bit more calories because of the way it was cooked or the oil and stuff. But knowing that that was a source of protein, and just including more, like picking more veg or like more, what would I? It would be like more. You'd be surprised. Like before, I was never a salad person, but then you'd be surprised somehow salads are quite filling. After you think about it, like when new salads are coming out as well, like with chickpeas and all these kind of like extra protein that is actually really filling. And you don't feel like bloated after it. Like you get to enjoy the rest of the day and the evening like without feeling so full.
That's huge. And then you basically did that on rinse and repeat through different various barbecues and
Yeah.
anniversaries and whatnot, and that allowed you to enjoy that time as well. Um, which was incredible. Now, fast forward a little bit to now the we stopped dieting around by the end of April into May. What happened then?
And then you let me increase my calories, I guess. We spoke about it. And then my calorie limit had gone up a bit. So we were able to increase like more food in my day and to try to stick to the same kind of roughly the same weight, um, without overgo like so to experiment more with my food and to use my fitness pal, which I didn't use before and haven't used, and we're still exploring how to just not stick to the diet for work frame, just like you could experiment with other kinds of food as well
Yeah.
without compromising, I guess, like.
Yeah, no, no, exactly. And like, how did you find like your motivation or drive or like, your mental side of things when you were not in a diet anymore, but also you wanted to care for the way that you looked? Did you find that difficult? Was it easy? Is it still a transition? Like, how are you feeling about not being in a diet anymore?
I don't know. It's just I feel because we had done the diet for like it was like one of those habits. Once you have a habit, it's hard to drop it. It's like when you have a bad habit, it's hard to drop it. So when we created these good habits during the initial diet phase, it was hard to. It's kind of embedded in you after a bit. So you're not like even like today, if I'm like hungry, like I will still go. I kind of know what kind of food I want to go for, and I that I'd rather wait until I can get the food that I want, or rather than like sometimes I don't want to just spoil my meal like by having like something unhealthy that I know that I won't really enjoy after. It'll feel good in the moment, but after I won't. When I know there's like really nice alternatives.
That's interesting. It's almost like a long term, like medium to long term gratification over the day to ensure that you don't spoil yourself for the other meals as well. Not many people have that straight after the diet, so it's a fantastic mentality to have. What changed now? So like we're now in maintenance. We're using different tracking methods of eating more food. What are we doing with the weekends? Because we've now got like a little bit of a nice balance between the weeks and the weekdays and the weekends. So what are we doing at the weekend?
So there's like a day where I can have like a meal without tracking it at all. So because the rest of the week kind of we're tracking, so it means we could have like a meal that's like a treat, I guess, a treat meal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it's a meal where you don't have to think or be able to have that whatever you want type of mentality. How has that like kind of worked with your social life now that we're kind of opening back up to some level of quote unquote normality in these places?
I think so far it's like worked in terms of like when I want before when we're in the dieting phase, and if I was doing a maintenance meal or something, I would just stick to one meal like a main rather than like go for a bit of a starter or something or a bit of a dessert. But now I can indulge in that starter or have a bit of a dessert without feeling like, yeah, that's not, yeah, I enjoyed that bit.
Yeah, yeah, it's the best part, isn't
Yeah, or
it?
side as
Yeah. And you mentioned something earlier at the beginning about like how you had to learn how to cook and stuff like that and cook these meals. What does that look like now whilst you're in maintenance? Do you still prep your food? Do you still, or are you more like laissez-faire with your choices?
I'm a bit more, I would say, laissez-faire. Like I still um have those kind of meals, but my mum also makes some of them. So it is very interesting. So when I was in the dieting phase and she was watching me make the same food she makes, but in a better way, like with less oil, or like, you know, weighing food out portion wise, like she's adapted that into her cooking as well a bit. So it makes it easier that sometimes like if I haven't had a chance to meal prep or I have some go-to meals that I know that won't take long to make. I do that, or I eat a bit of like I guesstimate now a bit, so I know roughly this is what I would normally have, and in terms of protein wise, and I like guesstimate a bit.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and that's exactly what you should be doing in the phase where you're at right now. You mentioned about your mum. Has that had any other positive benefits for the people around you, like you taking this action?
Yeah, like loads of people. So I can't stop recommending autonomy to everyone that I meet. Every like I guess like nowadays, like when you go through it, your conversations are more based around. Even if you talk about anyone throughout COVID, like a lot of people have realized the impact. You know, just generally of their health. Like they need to take care more of their health. So those conversations are coming up more, and like to talk about what you're doing specifically for your health. Um, you don't realize like you might say one thing, or like for example Amit saying it to me has really like changed my life so far, and me going on that journey has changed like my friends, like some of my friends who I've recommended, like they're so like happy with their results as well, and they're recommending as well, like they're it's just like as we were saying, it's like a snowball effect. Like what it's like one person needs to have that positive, like, you know, positive experience to pass to bring more positivity around them, and then slowly like more, it will spread.
Yeah, no, 100%. We call it the spider web of impact. Like, you know, you've had someone in your spider web beforehand, like take control of his life, and then that's impacted, you know, what you've seen, and then what you've seen has now impacted your family and your boyfriend and all these other people that are now on their own journeys, taking their own health a little bit more seriously. Do you think like the home habits got better? Like everyone, like when you were at home, your mum started cooking a bit differently. Did she start doing anything else? Like did other people start doing more active, being more active?
Yeah, so I my mum like will try to cook with less oil where she can, and she'll try to like in the day, like if normally before she used to make like more potato based curries or potato like carby kind of foods only, but now she'll try to make more like protein based, like lentils, or like to have that option available as well. And like in terms of like fitness wise, I would say um I doing my steps every day, like it makes everyone like kind of feel like, oh yeah, it's not that hard to actually do the steps, because like I'll go out for an hour and I'll do like lots of my steps, and I'll just be like, oh, actually went for an hour and that's it. Like so I got my mum during this process, I got my mum a fitness tracker as well. So she's really enjoying it. She loves doing the steps as well. So
Yeah, that's the best snowball piece. Like if you can't do it for yourself, then you definitely do it for the people around you. And if you're doing it for both sides, I think that's when it's the biggest thing out of all of it. Like you being the action taker, you become a leader, which is also a really positive mindset. In terms of the mindset side of things, you mentioned about how you were unconfident when you were on that holiday. Now, if you were to go on a holiday now, how would you feel versus you did then?
So I'm actually, I think I told you, I might, so in 2 weeks' time, I'm planning a holiday to Dubai.
Yeah,
I'm actually really excited that I bought new clothes and like trying them on. I feel like, like so much better. Like I can't even like describe it, like my whole mindset, like in terms of like, I don't feel, I want to kind of show off like that, all the, the hard work I put into it. Like I want to feel confident and in what I'm wearing and not feel like, oh, like, just in my eyes as well. It's not like just what anyone else thinks. It's my like what I feel confident in, looking
yeah,
at myself in the
yeah. No, that's the biggest thing, and obviously we'll definitely grab dinner when you're over here.
yeah.
We gotta go to recommend some very very nice places. Um, so that like, you've changed a lot within the lifestyle, the mindset, and like obviously the physical is taking care of itself now. But like, what's driving you now to continue staying in shape for life?
I think it's just, seeing like how productive and like energy wise and how the structure has really helped my life, like, in terms of not just working for the sake of it, like working to and then enjoy building that health to enjoy my time off or to enjoy my day. Like it's I want this to be a lifelong thing. I don't want to like feel so tired from working, and like when I like get married or something and like have kids, I don't want to be like such tired or be in such a like physical or fitness mindset that I'm too tired to do anything. I want to be an active parent. I want to be like I don't know how to explain it, but I want better, like a healthier future.
That's it's a good driver, especially when you then relate that back to potential kids, potential family, potential work. Like there's so many reasons for you to continue going the way that you're going that there's more reasons to continue doing than there's less to
Yeah.
go in the opposite direction, which is a very, very, very good mindset to have. Now, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, this look sounds like sunshine and roses." She's just committed. She's just disciplined. What problems did you face that we overcame during this time of either the diet or the maintenance phase?
I think so. We've been working like weekly on this. So once I came out of the diet phase, I did have a bit of a slump in the workouts, the routines. Like since I moved to the gym, and then like every week I was doing less and less workouts, and it was something that I knew that I needed to work on. Like it wasn't something I wanted to do, but I just, like I guess I got complacent and I had got the results, but then I was like, oh, I was still carrying on with my nutrition side, but the workouts I was letting slide. And um, I think I just need like you help me through. Like we need to talk about what is the long term benefits of the workouts. Like why are we doing them? What is it actually achieving? Like you need to find a new reason of why you're doing them, why you need to do them. Because you were right, like when I hit after I hit my physical goal weight, you were like, I had gone down like in terms of like I don't know what's next, because you said to me at this point, it really stuck to me that you whenever I had this goal, I would never achieve it. So I never thought about what's next. But now that I've achieved that weight goal, like that's why I feel a bit, oh, what was next? Because I didn't think of what was next because I never thought I would actually achieve it. So I guess you've been helping me think about long-term goals now, like how should we maintain it long term so it's not something just for the next few months.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, it's such a hard dynamic to even consider if you've never ever got to the shape you wanted to. Like, it's like one of those things where you never think you're going to own a Ferrari, and the next minute you own a Ferrari, and then you're like, oh, well, I don't know how to keep it. I don't know I don't know where to store it. Does it go in a garage? Do I go to Quick Fit to do the tires on a Ferrari? Do I, do everything when it comes to having this new prized possession? And you can, when you're trying to attain it, you still only you never believe really that you can get it, and then when you get it, you're like, oh well, what do I do with it now? And
Yeah.
it's that transition phase, and like I haven't told you, but like I'm writing a book. I don't know if I said mentioned, but I'm writing a book at the moment, and one of the pastures in it, pastures sounds like a Bible. One of the chapters in it is that you need to find better reasons to change, better reasons or more beneficial reasons to change. And that's definitely what we worked on since the slump in training is like, well, why are you training? What's the benefit that you get from it? What can you do consistently that's going to give you this benefit of productivity, exercise, strength for the kids, for you, for whatever? Like, be able to channel that. So this isn't a flash in the pan, like nutrition wise, I think we got that locked. But if you don't train, then you may feel poor. And then by feeling like poor, you may then slump on your nutrition. So there's always like this coinciding factors that all come together. So finding that real reason and like real reasons, multiple reasons that are so overwhelming to change on all facets. Some people might think that's nutrition related. Some people like really suck with nutrition. Some people really suck with training over the long term. Some people just suck with like keeping the structure and the time management. But if you can find better reasons to change for all of these areas, then actually, you know, you should never go backwards because it's so beneficial to you when you feel it and you believe it. So like that's a big thing. And then with that in mind, what do you think is going to be like potentially the things that may bring you backwards? Like if there was anything that was going to bring you backwards right now, what is that thing? And like, you know, what are you doing to make sure it doesn't happen?
I think it, as we spoke, I think it is the workouts. Like I need to, I think, get over, because I did a few weeks without, or like I went to nothing. I need to, that could, you know, going back into that. But I think more, I'm trying to do more positive thinking in terms of thinking every time I do the work, I'm like, okay, why am I doing it? It's going to help me this time. It's going to help me for future. I need to keep bringing back those positive reinforcements in my mind. Because every time like we talk, like you always tell me like, okay, so once you finish that, what are you going to say to yourself to keep doing it yourself? Like, I'm not going to always be there. Like, so that's always helpful because you always make me think, talk to myself, I guess, and like convince myself that I need to do it for me. Like, I need to carry on.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. I mean, it's one of my favorite sayings. It's like, and not many coaches say it because ultimately they want you to stay forever because that will allow me to stay in my hotel, in my place in Dubai with lots and lots of niceties. You know, taking your money and just like keeping you coaching forever. It's one of my biggest things. I like to make sure that we're different on. But the question I always say is like, well, what? Like, I'm not going to be here in 6 months, so you better know what to do when I'm not here because you know, you're not, firstly, you're not going to any other coach because you don't need it. Second of all is, you know, you take that full responsibility and then you start asking yourself those questions. And that's the goal, right? You know, if you, instead of asking me, what do I do? Then you say, well, actually, I've done all the things that have kept me in shape. I know the answer. I just haven't asked the right questions to myself yet to be able to do so. What type of questions do you ask yourself like daily or weekly to kind of keep you with that new, like, let's go to nutrition and like structure wise because they're the biggest things for most people. What do you ask yourself, what do you say to yourself when those are the biggest factors?
I say like in terms of like what I want to eat, I think of like what kind of food am I feeling, and then I think like, for example, if I was feeling Italian food, I would be like, okay, let's see how can I make that craving kind of fit into my lifestyle I want to live. How can I make it fit into me rather than me fit into like, you know, like adjust myself. Like I have like a limit and let's fit it around my kind of what I need for myself. That's what I kind of do. So that I'm like, okay, so let me add more veg rather than pasta. Let me I can make the sauce a bit spicy, but cut down on the carbs content of it. But it'll still be nice, but it'll just be more in line with what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's nothing wrong with any type of food, or there's no good and bad food, which we're trying at the moment. Obviously, we're trying with the extra food in the day to get that calories up with the potential like nachos and guacamole. But there's definitely no bad foods at all. So being able to have that kind of thought process where you're like, yeah, the way I've done it before might not fit the goals I have right now, but it doesn't mean I can't have it. It's just I've got to change instead of that big bowl of pasta, like you said. And let's say, for example, if you're having spaghetti bolognese or something with Cormans, you know, the portion size of spaghetti that you had before might be cut in half and it might be some veggies. And then, you know, the sauce that you're having just needs to be accounted for. You know, it's, and then maybe if you're going to have cheese on spaghetti bolognese, which is fantastic, it's like, are you going to have that, or are you going to do without, or are you going to add it in 10 grams, 15 grams, whatever you feel that you need just to kind of suffice the urges. You said, you said something really interesting then, which is like, if I have a craving, I ask myself, how do I get this into my lifestyle, as opposed to get me into that specific mold. That's huge. That's so big. Because that question then says my goals and myself are more important than the old habits that I had. So therefore, I'm going to mold what I think is my craving into my new lifestyle, which is amazing.
I can't eat like a 60 kg person if I want to be a 50 kg person. I've got to, adjust my expectations in that sense. Like if I want to stick to a 50 kg person, I've got to eat like one, like otherwise it won't work.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings as well, isn't it? It's like, if you want to be 50, be 50. Like, you got to act like it. If you want to be 100, then you can eat whatever you want, really. So yeah, it's huge. So like, this will be my final question, because this has just been absolute gold. Is that, if you were now sat in a room full of 10 people that wanted to lose weight, what do you think the biggest thing that you would say to them about, not even from an autonomy perspective, but what would be the biggest advice that you can give? The one thing that changed more things to you than anything else?
I think it's being consistent. Like with anything you do, just be consistent and don't like don't expect results overnight. Like it won't happen, but with consistency it will happen. Like as long as you're fine tuning the routine or the structure, like the results will come, they'll follow. Just make sure that you're like turning up and doing it every day.
Yeah, that's huge. That's very, very big. All right, well, thank you very much, Anjali, for this. I really, really appreciate it, and I
Thank
hope
you.
you
Help
guys.
me.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think a lot of you will take inspiration from this, and this is just like, one of many that we're going to get of clients already experiencing quote unquote autonomy. So this has been really good. And everyone has their own lifestyles, everyone has the way that they do things, and it's like, ultimately we want to show you multiple different people that got the job done to get towards this place without going down the same route. Everyone has their own problems to solve, and as you can hear, you solved your problems very, very nicely, and you're still solving your problems when it comes to maintenance, and that's great. No goal or no journey is ever finished, so there should always be something that you're problem solving to move to that next problem whenever that does arise. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for this, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nathan.